what's going on, everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. Today we can see that cryptocurrencies are pulling back a bit. We recently saw a pretty big jump that pushed us towards some important resistance levels, and it was a logical and almost expected area to pull back a bit. So right now we're probably going to consolidate a little bit below those resistance levels, and soon enough, probably within 2 to 3 weeks, we'll start to see cryptos push higher again and get those breakouts. It really should happen pretty quickly. It's just a matter of waiting a bit, putting in a small base, and then being ready to get that move, which is actually going to put us above some pretty important levels for a lot of these cryptos, right? That'll mean that Bitcoin should be above $10,000, Ripple above $1. So those are some big round numbers, and those are always pretty critical as far as telling us that we're ready for that next step higher. So across the board here, as you can see, pretty minor pullback, nothing really to worry about. I'll be covering that in more detail during the technical analysis. Make sure to follow me on Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates, and check out my premium content for monthly cryptocurrency buying opportunities. Link to both those in the description of this video. Just to go over some news pieces here, Coinbase is basically preparing for an increase in trading, and they're kind of upgrading the servers, upgrading their capability to gear up for more activity on the platform. Now, I take this a couple different ways. It's obviously pretty important, and it kind of gives us some hints to possibly new cryptocurrencies getting put on the Coinbase and GDAX platform, and just anticipation maybe in the summer and stuff like that. Just big players coming into crypto. That actually brings me on to the next piece of news, which is an angel investor and successful businessman in China actually bought up 10,000 bitcoins amid the 2018 price slump. And this is interesting for multiple reasons. For one, it just shows that there are people out there, institutions, big players, or even just retail investors that are accumulating, is the keyword, cryptocurrencies, and that will presumably be holding on to those cryptos for quite some time, right? Thus kind of limiting the supply, and that is huge, especially in the long term, kind of removing that circulating supply more and more. And we've been seeing just a lot of news about traditional institutions, Wall Street coming into crypto, and that should normally really kick things up, especially over time once again. Now, we have some news about a class action lawsuit against Ripple alleging that it performed a sale of unregistered securities. We've been seeing this happen a couple of times. Ethereum kind of came under fire for potentially being a sale of unregistered securities. To be honest, especially for these bigger cryptocurrencies, I'm not really concerned about this at all. They're really being used as currencies now, I would say, and I can understand in certain situations, in certain ICOs where that could maybe come into play. But for these bigger cryptocurrencies, like I said, that are really being used mostly as currencies, I really don't see too much risk here or concern. Once again, that's just my opinion. Let's jump right into the technical analysis now with Bitcoin. So as you can see, we're making our way towards that $10,000 mark, currently consolidating a little bit below that, near $9,700. We're kind of flattening out as well in the indicators. So we are probably going to see a little bit of consolidation here. Like I said, could last maybe 2 to 3 weeks, I think would be a fair estimate that gives us some time. Could we break out quicker than that? Of course, but as you can see, right, it would be a pretty logical area to get some consolidation now between $9,000 and $10,000 as we're waiting for the middle band to kind of catch up to the price, and then they'll probably flatten out. Like I said, we need to put in a bit of a base, and then we should be ready to start really breaking above $10,000, which is one of those big round numbers that should allow us to then start quickly moving higher in that range there as we move onwards towards 12,000 and even 15,000 Satoshis, trying to get back towards those all-time highs. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum next. Ethereum is actually looking pretty decent here. We made our way above that big resistance level at $764, so that should now act as support. We are slowing down, though, the increase, of course, huge green candlestick, so it makes sense here. But we're actually holding up decently. Could we drop back down towards $700? It is possible. We are pretty far away from the middle band, but we have our uptrend line here that's still holding up nicely. So at this point, I feel like we're going to hold up pretty well either way, And really, we might even start to see it slowly but surely over the next 2 weeks move into that $800 range as we try to get back towards $900. Let's take a look at Litecoin next, see what's been going on. So Litecoin is currently back in its channel here, in its uptrending channel and kind of triangle formation here. So that's a good sign. It's pretty tight. We're coming towards the end of that range, so we'll see what happens. It looks like we may actually end up leaving that formation, which is fine. That probably will mean a little bit more consolidation, though, over the next week, maybe 2 weeks, and then we should be ready to start moving towards $200 again. Indicators flattening out, but we're still positive on all indicators, so that's good. Let's take a look at Nano. Nano got a nice jump here. We finally made our way back above 100,000 Satoshis. Unfortunately, we did pull back. We're now a little bit below that, so at 95,000 Satoshis, which is fine, right? Once again, that's kind of expected after a big run-up like this to get a bit of a pullback. So I still think that we will be moving higher in that 100,000 Satoshi range over the next month. But right now, since we just got a pretty sharp increase, that's why we're pulling back a bit. Not too concerned about it. We might consolidate a little bit at around 100,000 Satoshis just to put in a bit of a base. And after that, we should be ready to start moving higher again, like I said, higher in that 100,000 Satoshi range. Let's take a look at Ripple next, see what's been going on. So like I said, Ripple had that news piece there that it was experiencing a class action lawsuit, not really affected by it as far as the price is concerned. Indicators definitely flattened out a bit, and we can see some pretty flat doji candlesticks. So this leads me to think that we will probably see some consolidation between 84 cents and $1 over the next week to 3 weeks, I would say at the most. But I don't think we're going to be moving below 84 cents at this point, especially with the middle band close to where we are now. Not really concerned about any drop significantly lower than, just basically some consolidation, like I said. Let's take a look at NEO and see what's been going on. So right now, NEO is right below that $85 mark. We've been struggling with that level for a couple days now, and we might even see a pullback back to the middle band at this point since we were struggling so much with that level. Indicators definitely weakening and flattening out, which is fine, but I do think that we're going to slow down here and really put in a little bit of consolidation over the next 2 weeks because it seems like NEO is just not ready to start, breaking back towards $100 just yet. But after the consolidation, right, there's no reason why that shouldn't happen. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be Stellar Lumens, and see what's been going on. So Stellar Lumens is currently pulling back towards its middle band. It got a pretty nice increase, which pretty much completed its U-shaped recovery. So we're now moving back towards our middle band. We already kind of bounced off that once, and I think that's likely going to happen again. We could move, even a little bit lower to our uptrend line, but at this point we have multiple support layers there, and at worst we're probably going to see some consolidation between 4,000 and 4,500 Satoshis. That would mean breaking below our uptrend line, which wouldn't be the best thing, but not the end of the world at the same time. Our Bollinger Bands are definitely contracting towards the price, so definitely think we're going to see a little bit of a weakening and consolidation here for Stellar. Let's go ahead and take a look at Vertcoin next, see what's been going on. So Vertcoin is currently very flat. The Bollinger Bands are flattening out, middle band flattening out, indicators have already flattened out significantly. So at this point, we're probably going to move very much so in this $2.60 area over the next, like I said, probably around 2 weeks. And then we should be able to really start breaking above $3.23. Let's go ahead and take a look at Lisk. So Lisk actually had a pretty interesting move recently. It was able to break out of its downtrend line. We are moving lower after testing $15, but the good thing here is that we really did make our way out of our downtrend line, right? So we're out of the symmetrical triangle formation, and the indicators are still holding up well here. So it's always possible that we move back towards our middle band. At this point, I think that we're probably just going to trickle down a little bit lower alongside our downtrend line and then, kind of get a bounce and start moving back towards $15 again. The second time around when we test that level, I think we'll be able to get back above that and start moving towards $20. Let's take a look at Cardano. Cardano actually was able to hold up pretty well over the past week, and we can see that it is now pulling back a bit. It was able to get a nice move a little bit before a lot of cryptocurrencies out there, so that explains a bit of a pullback, and it looks like we are going to be testing that 3,500 level again That's where the middle band is at. That's where our support level is at. So I'm expecting a bounce there, and then probably going to see some consolidation just a little bit longer between 3,500 and 4,000 Satoshis. Indicators, however, definitely weakening here. Let's take a look at IOTA for our last cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update. And IOTA kind of peaked here at $2.63. That's where our resistance level was at. And I definitely expect the pullback here back towards, maybe $2.12, or really just where our middle band is at. So not the end of the world, but definitely, got a very big move higher here. And that was kind of really as high as we were going to go in the very short term. I definitely think we're going to be moving higher over the next couple months, but in the very short term, that was definitely kind of our peak there, which is fine. Right now, the indicators are still holding up decently, but I will expect a significant pullback. We're obviously not going to come crashing back below $2 or anything like that, but I think that we're definitely going to come back towards our middle band, and then might consolidate just a little bit in this range over here. With that being said, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.